Today I'm going to talk about the reproduction in algae. Algae reproduces by asexual means, sexual means, and by vegetative means. First of all, vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction takes place by means of fragmentation, fission, budding, homogonia, tubers, and akinets. Fragmentation takes place either by the breakage of filament or it takes place by the breakage of filament into the thallus. Each of these are capable to behave as an independent organism. For example, we have Spirogyra. In case of Spirogyra, the filaments break and each filament is capable to germinate into the new organism. Then we have fission. Fission is simply the unicellular forms. They multiply by fission. That is, it's a simple cell division. Simple cell division. Cells divide to form many cells. And each cell is capable to germinate into a new organism. Then we have budding. A bud arises on the parent cell. That bud enlarges and finally separates to produce a new organism. Bud originates on the parent cell, enlarges and germinates into new plant. Then we have harmogonia. In case of harmogonia, certain blue-green algae such as nostoc, the filaments break up into harmogonia due to the formation of a special disc called Nicridia. In blue-green algae, such as we have nostoc, oscillatoria, etc., the filaments break up into the harmogonia due to formation of a special disc called Nicridia. Nicridia. Or in case of these the blue green algae, they intercalary heterocystis break to form the homogonia. Then we have tubers. Tubers are formed on the lower nodes as also on the rhizoids. They germinate into new plants formed on lower nodes. Example, we have Cara. These tubers then germinate to form the new plants. Then we have akinets. Akinets are formed during the unfavorable condition due to the deposition of food material followed by the thickening of parent wall. Here, deposition of food material takes place. Which is followed by the thickening of parent wall during the unfavorable condition. But on the onset of favorable condition, they germinate to form the new plant. But on the onset of favorable condition, the akinets germinate to form new plants. Then after the vegetative reproduction, we have asexual reproduction in case of algae. Asexual reproduction takes place by various types of spores formed inside the sporangium. And except the zoospores, all other types of spores are non-motile. We have zoospores, by which the asexual reproduction takes place. These zoospores are flagellated motile spores. These are motile spores, usually uninucleate and naked. These are biflagellate spores. But in some cases, quadriflagellates or we can say the multiflagellates are also present. Example, Odogonium, multiflagellates. Odogonium. These zoospores swim for some time, settle down, and secrete cell wall and then germinate to produce the new thalli. After zoospores, we have aplanospores. Aplanospores. Aplanospores are non-motile spores. Obviously, then they may be non-flagellated. Non-flagellated spores. There are following types in case of aplanospores, such as autospores, hypnospores, endospores, exospores, nanospores or nanocystis, monospores. Autospores are those spores which are non-motile spores and have same morphology as that of parent cells. These are non-motile spores. Having the same morphology as that of parent cells. Then we have hypnospores. Hypnospores are also non-motile spores. But develop very thick wall to permeate under the unfavorable condition. Means they are thick-walled spores to permeate under the unfavorable conditions. Then on the onset of favorable condition, they germinate to produce the new plants. Then endospores. These spores are also non-motile, produced endogenously. Exospores produced exogenously. Non-motile, also non-motile spores. Produced exogenously. Nanocystis are the small. These are the Small cells. The cell content divide repeatedly without any enlargement and hence produce the small numerous nanosisters. Cell contents divide to produce small numerous nanosisters. These non-motile nanosisters germinate in situ to produce the new plants. Germinate in situ to produce new plants. Then we have the sexual reproduction of algae, the most advanced. Three types of sexual reproduction are present in case of algae. We have isogamy, anisogamy, and oogamy. Isogamy, first, isogamy, anisogamy, and oogamy. First, we have isogamy. Isogamy involves the fusion of gametes which are morphologically and physiologically similar. Means here occurs the fusion of morphologically and physiologically similar gametes. And they are called isogametes. Example we have Chlamydomonas ugametos. The two nuclei of opposite strains, the plus and minus, they fuse together. And result in the formation of zygospore. Then the second we have an isogamy. An isogamy involves the fusion of two gametes which are dissimilar. Fusion of two dissimilar gametes. Fusion of two dissimilar gametes. Example, ectocarpus. When the two gametes are morphologically dissimilar, the anisogamy is said to be morphological. When the two gametes are morphologically dissimilar. Example, Chlamydomonas brownie. When the two gametes are morphologically similar but define their behavior, the anisogamy is said to be physiological. When the two gametes are
when the two gametes are physiologically dissimilar, means when they differ in their behavior. Physiologically dissimilar. Example, Spirogyra. In Spirogyra, the motile gamete may be called male and the stationary one is known as the female. Motile one is called male and stationary one, non-motile, female. Then third type is oogamy. In oogamy, in this type of reproduction, the male sex organ is known as antheridium. And female sex organ is known as oogonium. Here, the antheridium forms the male gamete called antheriozoid. Male gamete. Called antheriozoid, and oogonium forms the female gamete called egg. Egg is non-motile, while the antheriozoids are biflagellated, means they are motile. The simplest type of oogamy is seen in case of Chlamydomonas crucifera. There occurs the fusion of, in case of oogamy, there occurs the fusion of antheriozoid, biflagellated antheriozoid with the egg to form diploid zygote.